Hoffen wir, dass Schwächert ein guter Boden für ihn ist. Heißen wir ihn herzlich willkommen. Hier ist Alex Steinbauer!
Die lustigen Schickis, die normalen Leid und die Salonsteirer Freaks, sie sind alle noch da. Und es kehrt genauso. Steiermark, da bin ich her. Und ich mag das Gefühl, dass ich wo daheim bin, immer mehr. Steiermark, war immer die Zukunft von dir gekommen. Ich hab mich nicht überrascht und die irgendwen braucht, ist einfach der Punkt. Es war sowas wie Helme für die Landkarte.
Wir bekommen zu tun mit einem Mann aus England, 32 Jahre alt. Heuer war er schon im Achtelfinale bei den Danish Open. Schon 2008 stand er im Finale beim PDC World Championship. Aktuell ist er die Nummer 106 der Welt. Hier ist The Karate Kid, Kurt Shepard!
Hello and welcome back. We're in Schwechat near Vienna in Austria for the Austrian Darts Championship. Here at the Multiversum, and we're kicking off this evening's session with another Austrian qualifier. Now, 3 of the Austrians have already gone through to the next phase, and this afternoon, if you weren't with us, you missed some great games, especially the very last game of the session where Jermaine Watamina missed one match dart to beat Christian Bunzer, who somehow got over the line 6-5 in the end after being 5-2 ahead. But we've had victories for Brendan Dolan, for James Wilson, a stunning debut for Adam Gaulas of the Czech Republic. We know who he is now. Rusty Jake Rodriguez, one of those Austrians, he's through. Dietmar Berger, his best performance ever, arguably, against Cor Decker. And Van der Voort, he got the best of Justin Pipe. This evening, we start with Alex Steinbauer, and here's Kirk Shepard. What's he going to deliver in his possible assault on getting to the European Championships?
So it's like Kirk to throw first. Game on.
He's got a bit of work to do because he's only on about £4,000. Thoughts, Dan Dawson?
Always a difficult one to predict, Kirk Shepard.
140.
Some days he looks mustard. This the opening game of the evening session. Couple of world champions on the way, in Stephen Bunting and Mark Webster. We got world youth champions in Dimitri Vandenberg and Keegan Brown. A world finalist, of course, here in Kirk Shepard.
100.
A long while ago, that. But for the majority of the time since then, Kirk has been plying his trade on the tour and not managing to do a great deal. He's one of those Wigan boomerangs. He's always back at Q School every 2 years, it seems.
85.
Alex Steinbauer, the first thing you notice about him, he seems to have the same, Paul Nicholson pointed this out, the same sort of shirt maker as Zoran Lurchbacher, his fellow countryman, used to. He's got the same sort of darts as well, with the very fine, wobbly points.
Maybe he has been in the Austrian version of Flight of the Navigator, where he's been missing for a few years, when in fact it's only been about half an hour.
Maybe.
100.
Maybe.
Now, Steinbauer did play in Graz, and that was his first time on the European Tour, so you would think...
That was last year, wasn't it? Or did he play this year?
It was this year, yeah. And you would think he's a bit more composed for this opportunity after that debut. Now, already 9 darts in, he looks a bit more assured, but he's got that Dietmar Berger lurch going on as well.
Shepard started the leg with a ton 40.
60.
And
As you recall,
he's only down to
136.
100. 4 visits later, and Steinbauer, he might fancy his chances here. A bit livelier in the multiversum than it was this afternoon. Filled out a little bit.
96.
Would prove to be a factor for the likes of Steinbauer. Double top for Kirk Shepherd for the first leg, though. Down for double 10. Oh, busts it.
No score. As you require 40.
Not to quote Harry Enfield, but he didn't want to do that.
Yeah,
Steinbauer doesn't give him another shot. And the Austrian fans have been treated to some great victories today. And they want another one.
Game on.
Well, there is a particular bunch of lads. You can see them in the football tops. They were trying to identify. They might be Maribor football tops. They're not going to put George Noble off his job, but they might well play a role in
27
games tonight. Hannah Schneer is a player we've seen in action before on the Euro Tour and has won games on the Euro Tour before.
100.
You'll notice him because he's the guy in the bright blue trousers. You'll see him later on. He's taking on Keegan Brown, who we know has played some really good stuff this year, particularly on the European Tour, Keegan Brown. But we don't really know how much action some of these top PDC guys have had over the last month.
133.
Some of them could get caught a little cold. Willie O'Connor certainly didn't produce the stuff we saw at the start of the year from him. And indeed for most of this year. As Brendan Dolan overcame him in the opening game of the day.
Someone want to tell that guy that the mask is upside down?
I'm not telling him. I think he's rocking that look.
He's doing it Elton John style.
Why not?
96.
Dennis Taylor style.
Yeah. 1985 World Snooker Champion.
112.
Yeah, good job from Kirk there. Just switching down to the 19s. Pressuring Steinbauer here, but so far Steinbauer has been riding that little bit of adrenaline from the crowd and from this experience. He's doing a decent job so far.
Well, he did play at the Austrian Darts Open last year. Alex Steinbauer got ironed out 6-0 by Richie Burnett.
You require 154.
So,
is it really last year?
Well, certainly that's the one I've got. He might have played this year as well. I don't know. I'll have to check that. But the record I've got, he got beaten 6-0 by Richie Bennett, and he averaged mid-70s. Now, in qualifying for this, he won 3 games with mid-70s averages. So you would think that's not going to be enough against Kirk Shepherd, but 88. You don't know. It might be enough, or you might be able to surpass that.
Double 18 for Kirk. A miss on double 9.
47.
Invites the Austrian back in.
Alex requires 66.
They only go for this one. A lot of guys these days like treble 14, but wow, I like that. Double 6. Ah, he likes it too. Look at this from Alex Steinbauer. A little bit of spirit.
Well, well, well. 2 nearly leads.
85.
This goes to show, Dan, there are so many ways to go for 66.
What's your choice? Treble 10?
I was always a treble 10 guy, and then I started hitting treble 15 a lot, so I figured I'd try a different way. And in practice with the likes of Dave Chisnell and Chris Dobie, a lot of them were going for treble 14, and I thought, hang on a minute, that 42 is right in line with the double 12. And I did it in my next game. I had 66, and I went treble 14, double 12, and I thought, right, that's my way now, and I've stuck to that.
Yeah, well, you see a lot of players go ball for double 8. If it's 25, then they've got a choice of doubles. They can go 9 for double 16. It's all about what double you really fancy. But at the same time,
60.
You see it more and more, and I think this is with players trying to go for shots where they stay in the same area of the board. They like the transitions between certain trebles and doubles. Shepherd produces the first 180 of the evening, and this should be first leg on the board for the Karate Kid.
140.
Earlier on, it was
96.
His friend Ross Smith, who was put out by Adam Gaulas.
88.
Kirk fails on that double 8 shot for the 96 out. Ross Smith was in control of that at the start, but then got pegged back from 5-3 up. And Kirk is going to have to do pretty much the opposite. He's going to have to come from behind, I'd like to see it, Dan.
Go
Much
go
better
by
performance in leg 3.
Down with double 2. There
It's
it
on the
is.
third leg.
Shepherd
Kirk
does get a leg on the board. I mean, Ross Smith threw the second highest
Ball
average of
leg,
the
Alex,
day.
to throw
And
first.
in fact, for a lot of that game, he was averaging
Game on.
well over a ton. He's playing fantastically. He was on 2 legs back to back. He was on a double after 9 darts as he took control of that game. But Adam Gaulas, my word, what a incredible debut performance on the European Tour for the young lad who's only been playing darts for 6 months. I would argue that Alex
60.
Steinbauer has been playing a lot longer than that. He made the final of a European Championship in soft tip almost 20 years ago, 2001.
100.
And he's had 10 goes at qualifying for European Tour events. This is only the second time he's managed to make it through.
Have you had a go of the darts
55.
with the flexible points?
No, I've not actually thrown them. Have you?
I have. Can't use them.
Now, that's interesting.
140.
Why can't you? Because in the hand, and as you're throwing them, it shouldn't be any massive difference. There might be a little less weight at the front of them. And I know you do have a finger on the point sometimes, but it's just what happens when they're in the board, isn't it, that's the issue?
Well, I personally think I'd rather have something rigid to hit if I want a guide.
98.
People like Zoran Lerchbacher and particularly Martin Schindler, who used to use the flexible point, and Gabriel Clemens, of course, they think they can manipulate the dart a bit more with the flexible point in the board.
131.
I like the feel of grip on the point. I like the knowledge that the dart is solid in the board, so if I need the guide, it's going to hit it and I get the ricochet. I just don't
81.
get that confidence with that
130.
flexible point, but I think it's a soft tip thing as well. They like to have that manipulation.
94.
Superb switch from Kirk to leave himself on a double after 12 yet again. He has definitely responded in this match in the best way possible.
2 of the dwarves, just at the back there, and the mask on the wrong way round. But
Didn't know there was a dwarf called Flashy.
84. Kogo requires
he
36.
did make the final cut of the Disney film for obvious reasons. It was a children's film.
That one's a good guide.
18. Alex
Hang
requires
about. Alex Steinbauer
123.
will know how to get this one. 19's first. Oh, you don't want to do that. So close to getting that 57 to leave 66. And now Kirk Shepherd is coming back and he's got a decision to make. The way his darts
43.
land, you go for this.
Kogo requires 18.
He's not going to do it. He's going to leave double 4 instead. Great shot.
On the full flag.
Great
Kirk
shot.
Shepherd.
Get the feeling that the crowd is on his
Good
back
leg, Kirk,
a little
to
bit.
throw first.
He's having to concentrate really hard here, Kirk, and he's got himself the throwback.
Yeah, well, when you've got a crowd that have made their presence felt
100.
early on, cheering on the home favourite, it's down to you to quiet them down. That's what Kirk Shepherd has done by not allowing
100.
Steinbauer to have a dart for either of the last 2 legs. It's just whether he can keep up that standard. At the moment, he's averaging round about 90. Now, from what we've
59.
seen from Steinbauer in qualifying last night and when we've seen him on the Euro Tour before, that should be enough. It should be enough to win some legs pretty comfortably.
Yeah, when you dissect the games that he's done
59.
before, I mean, in qualifying he was, what, 77, 74, 74 again. When you put those stats up against what Kirk did,
99.
where he averaged 88 and 93, should be quite a one-sided contest, you would feel, but Steinbauer has stepped up here a little bit, but now that the adrenaline is starting to dissipate a little bit, the performance of Steinbauer is starting
59.
to regress. And I've talked about this with young players. You're going to get that adrenaline burst at the start, but you've got to find a way after 3 or 4 legs to
99.
maintain a standard without that adrenaline burst.
Good looking first dart. The third one was decent as well.
125. Kogo
Chips away at that to
144.
leave a finish. That's decent stuff from Kirk Shepherd. Sets it up very nicely for that double 8. Another. Would have left double 19. Already seen that once today.
84.
James Wilson. In fact, nearly saw it again later in the match from Gavin Carlin, the man he beat.
Double 8 is hit from Kirk Shepherd. I'm going to say that's a perfect double for him because of the way his darts lie in the board.
Well, his darts do go in they go in, they're like Dukes of Hazzard, their way in sideways, don't they? Skid into the bed, into the board. And sometimes it's brilliant because if they land in the right place, they're making it very, very big as a target to follow. But other times
60.
It becomes almost impossible for him.
Yeah, his perfect first dart really is the left side of the 60. So you can caress them in from the right side of the barrel. Almost go in at a Greg Louganis angle.
58.
You know, sometimes the flight's going to hit the headboard. But something like double 10 or double 6 is a nightmare for him if he goes just on the outside
60.
wire. But if he goes on the outside wire of double 16, double 8 or double 11, it's a perfect guide for him.
And that's it. It is. You live by the sword and die by the sword. You get some big, big advantages if your dart is going in the right place. But, you know, double 8, double 16, it should be a lot easier for Kirk Shepherd than other players. But as you say, double 10, double 6 can be problematic.
140.
Same situation you find with players whose darts stick up compared to ones that lie down. You know, Justin Piper's darts lie down. Double top is quite a difficult one for him because if he has one above the top wire, he's covering most of the bed. In fact, we saw it today. If Justin Pipe is going for a bullseye finish
41.
and he's got one anywhere near the treble 20, sometimes he has to move to get out of the way of it because the long dart, the flight, is actually covering his path to the ball.
Excellent point. And there we go, 3 in the left side of that 60. That's how he can nestle them together. What a perfectly timed 180 that is to give himself a huge lead.
Well, Kirk Shepherd, without doing anything
136.
spectacular, has taken control of this game. He's put under pressure by Steinbauer in the early part of it,
43.
but he's just kept plugging away and he's had too much. Now Steinbauer has a chance here, but these are the shots that might have to go. And it could still go. And it could still go on double top. And Alex Steinbauer pins it for 3 apiece.
The thing that really entertains me about players with the flexible point, it's not just when they hit shots like that to get themselves 11 in the match, but because of the vibration of the barrel, it manipulates the stem sometimes to unscrew.
It was doing that on the first dart there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I thought I was having a funny turn for a minute.
Well, that's why I like to call it the Twin Peaks dart, because it just doesn't make sense sometimes. But the flight is twirling a bit like Nancy Kerrigan in the air on the ice.
Wow, didn't
doing
think
its
we'd
own
get
triple
an ice skating reference in tonight, but there we go.
If you don't know who Nancy Kerrigan is, you haven't seen the Tonya Harding movie, have you?
That is a spectacular. I urge you to watch it. If you're over 18, there's a lot of bad language. Yeah, a lot of bad language from Kirk Shepherd if he doesn't manage to convert that 3-2 lead into a victory here against Alex Steinbauer, a man who'd not won a leg on the European Tour until today.
Do we underestimate
There we go, it's going again.
There it was again. That was a triple Lutz, that one.
42.
Do we underestimate the amount of experience that Kirk has at top-level darts? Not only is it, 11 years
82.
since he was in a world final, but all of the previous experience as well in tournaments, and as probably the best youth player of his time.
He has an enormous amount of experience. I mean, a world finalist, obviously, admittedly a ridiculous run that year. 164 is just too much for him. Steinbauer, if the 140 doesn't
64,
go, and he just puts a ton in, Shepherd's got problems again. Needs to stay straight. That's the bare minimum. Working his way up to the treble.
43.
Oh, that kills him. That really hurts.
Treble 16. It's too high.
60.
All of a sudden, you might be right, Dan, because
Alex
he gets a single
97.
20. That last dart makes this one so much easier. But he can negate that with a treble 19. He gets it. Double top. He knows where this is. Listen to this if he hits it.
57.
It's a different noise than what he wanted to hear.
Well, Kirk Shepherd, to re-establish the leads, does so and gets away with it, and he is living pretty dangerously here, Kirk Shepherd. We saw Dietmar Berger earlier on take out the gigantic Norwegian player, Kåre Dekker. He won that 6-3, but the finishing, he only missed one dart at double in the whole game, Dietmar Berger. Now, here, Steinbauer, he's only missed 3, still 50%, which is good.
58.
But those 2 misses there are absolutely enormous.
100.
You can tell how much Kirk wants to progress and have a game with Rapid in Vienna. The 9th seed, Ricky Evans, awaits.
85.
Well, surely if Ricky Evans is playing tomorrow, he's got to come out with a mask of someone like Christoph Waltz or Erwin Schrödinger.
I'm not sure they sell many Erwin Schrödinger masks, do they?
I don't know, they've got Edgar Allan Poe masks and things like that. And Salvador Dali ones are quite popular right now.
I see it because, I'm assuming this is because Erwin Schrödinger was from Vienna, right?
Yeah, the famous scientist from Vienna. Yeah.
And if you buy the Erwin Schrödinger mask, it comes in a box, but you don't know whether it's in there or not. In fact, theoretically, it is both in there and not in there. You will not be seeing Kirk Shepherd in Riesa or in Mannheim. He's not qualified for either of them. So until Gibraltar, the final European Tour event of the year, 55. This is his last chance. He had a run just a few months ago in Copenhagen, made the last 16, beat Rob Cross in a second round there.
59.
But he's going to have to do something similar here and qualify for Gibraltar, where he's going to have a good run if he's going to go on and make the European Championship. And the European Championship is one of the major tournaments that Kirk Shepherd has not made it to in the past, and that's kind of indicative of Kirk Shepherd. He's been on the tour for years and years and years, keeps going back to Q School, keeps getting the right to play with the big boys, but the number of times he actually makes it to the big tour, he's not quite doing enough. He always looks dangerous in spells or on certain days, but he's not consistent enough for long enough to be able to get to things like the European Championship.
Double 16.
59.
Now he has to rely on Steinbauer missing from this sort of range. He's taken out the 103 previously. He's going to shot at tops.
81.
Under the bar. And he doesn't equalise, and this is all in the hands of Kirk. To put himself one away, he needs double 8. That's perfect. And he didn't use it. Got to say that third dart was badly thrown down because that guide was spot on.
Double 5. And that's badly thrown, I'm afraid. I know it's not missed by much, but if you're going to miss, you cannot miss inside second
16.
dart. He's nearly put that in the treble 1 to leave Madhouse, but I don't think it's going to matter. This is not the best bit of the board for Kirk Shepherd. Madhouse. Oh, it's still a chance for Steinbauer to level.
This game has been weird and wonderful at times. He's got to go top right. That double 2. There's that deflection. How much of that can he see? It can't be much. It was enough! What a goal that was!
Alex Steinbauer, a man who'd not won a leg on the European Tour before today, has won 4 already and is 2 away from victory. And did we see there perhaps the benefit of those bendy points? Because I'm sure he caught a bit of that flight as he threw it, and it just parted. Allowed him through, waved him through to the double 2. As Steinbauer now, he's playing on the treble 19 for reasons that elude me.
79.
You know what they say, Dan, when you play it locally and you get a guy who starts on 19s, you've got to beware.
Well, I mean, there are some players who do
96.
it. I've seen Ryan Joyce do it quite a bit. Bernd Royth, you never know where he's going to play. He's back on the 20s now. He's trying at any rate. Maybe the 19s would have been better.
42.
Round spins the flight. I mean, there's all sorts going on with Alex Steinbauer in this game. I'm not quite sure all of it makes sense.
96.
Kirk Shepherd is trying to assert himself in this match, and to be honest, apart from the spot, he was 2-0 down and managed to win 3 on the spin. But since then, he's given up chances, and there have been opportunities, and Shepherd may well come out of this with a victory.
99.
But he knows he's been in a game, and it's not been easy for him. We said at the start of the match that Steinbauer, a mid-70s average, is what we kind of expect, and it probably wouldn't be enough. Well, it is a mid-70s average, and he's not far away.
96. Kirk across 74.
It's a new level of win.
Quite.
Trying to win the mid-70s average instead of a mid-90s.
34.
And that's good enough from Kirk. He's got to get the double hit. He'll be thinking this is way closer than it should have been.
93. Kirk across 40.
The lead is
He's
back.
on the ninth
What he's
leg.
got to do, Dan, is he's got to completely leave tops all the time. Because every time he's up there,
Game on.
he looks authoritative, he looks confident on it, and he gets rid of the leg.
Well, he has missed a lot of darts at double as Kirk Shepherd,
134.
but he has managed to pin tops a couple of times.
55.
And he's only 5 out of 24, that's 20%. And that's why his average is down at 84. And it is allowing Steinbauer
77.
a chance because he's 150 points clear. Well, he was. Now he's not.
77.
That's much better. He's massaging his inner Dennis Priestley. And I say that because he's using a Priestley dart. You've got to get up there and just do it. And have
59.
confidence. That was a confident shot from Kirk. Now, go up to 60 again.
96.
Well, I mean, look, he's come away with the treble, and I suppose that is important, but Steinbauer, if he did see this off in 2 visits, and it's not looking likely after that first dart, but that gives him an opportunity.
87.
Probably not enough, but the thing is, Steinbauer is going to get a look at the 144.
99. Alex, you require 144.
Is that enough to give himself the one chance? And now possibly 2 chances as well to get rid of Alex Steinbauer and keep the crowd quiet, at least for now.
74.
Double 16. And there it is, Kirk Shepherd. You can see the celebration. It tells a story. Kirk Shepherd did not have things all his own way in that game. Alex Steinbauer, he may still be searching for a first win on the Euro Tour, but it is a step forward for the Austrian. He's managed to win some legs on this circuit for the first time in his career. But it is Kirk Shepherd, the former world finalist, who progresses for that meeting with Rapid in Vienna. That is the first game of 8 out the way here at the Austrian Darts Championship tonight. Coming up, it is a 2-time World Youth Champion Dimitri van den Berg and a former World Champion Mark Webster.
Welcome to Austria and welcome to the second round. How tough was it to play?
Yeah, very tough, you know. I didn't think I'd done a lot wrong scoring-wise. Missed a few doubles, let him in. His finishing was fantastic, and before you know, we're 4-all, and anything can happen, but I'm happy to get through, so...
Sehr schwierige Partie, sagte er, hat ständig auf der Hut sein müssen, weil ihm der Alex das Leben sehr schwer gemacht hat. What about your plans for tomorrow?
Well, one game at a time, you know, I've not really thought about tomorrow, but can I just say one thing? I was meant to be at a funeral today, a very close friend of mine, Peter Hudson. His dad sadly passed away last week, John, and I'd like to dedicate that game to him, so that's for him.
This is his applause. Thank you very much, Kirk. See you tomorrow. Und wir sehen uns in wenigen Minuten.